ABC, what are you doing to us? Why are you making us wait till March? Just why, ABC? Just why? Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for the mid-season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 10, What They Become, and that was the perfect title for this episode, and guys, this episode was amazing. I loved it, and the last two episodes were great, but they were nothing compared to this episode. This episode was epic. It had some epic showdowns. It had some very shocking reveals. I mean, especially the ending. Definitely it's something that we didn't think we were going to see till, like, 2019. They finally, hinted it at it. And I thought that was very well done. And I thought this whole episode was just fantastic. I love what was going on in it. And especially, especially Chloe Johnson, I think her name is. Let me look that up. Chloe Johnson, I think is her name. Chloe James, Chloe Johnson, something like that. Whatever her name is. Whoever plays Skye, oh my god, Skye's the best episode by far. She is now the best character on the show. I mean, she's awesome now. She really is. So, let's just get this episode because I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So, Grant and his people are, disengaging from the bus, and they fly off, because, of course, the end of last week's episode had that huge cliffhanger where they're gonna get off the bus, but there's a bomb going off and everything, and, Hydra, now realize that Grant is not really working with them, so Melinda tells Trip to find some cloud cover to the Hydra Queen-Jets circle back. Melinda tells everyone to strap in. She goes to the cockpit with Trip, and they go into a dive for the nearest cloud cover, 20,000 feet below. The Queen-Jets pursue, get missile locked just as the bus enters the cloud cover. She releases her heat decoys. The missiles strike them. The Hydra pilots assume that the bus is destroyed. Melinda sets course for San Wallen, and already the episode is crazy. I mean, we are like 2 minutes into the episode, and already it's insane. So a few hours later, the bus touches down next to the Queen-Jet just as Coulson, Bobby, Jemma, and Fitz arrive. Melinda tells Coulson that Grant took Skye, and they figure that she's still alive and on her way to meet her father. To meet the doctor, basically. So Coulson tells Bobby to make sure her own contact, Diego, doesn't help Hydra, and she reluctantly leaves. You can tell that she's kind of hesitant about leaving, but she leaves, and basically Trip then provides Sam and Billy with 4 World War II S.H.I.E.L.D. mechanical detonators that are immune to electronic jamming, and they work out how to destroy the temple. Again, what this is all about is destroying the obelisk. That's what they want to do here, is they want to destroy the obelisk. They can't, see what it does. As Coulson said last week, they need to destroy the obelisk. So that's their mission here, is to destroy it. And, just this whole episode was just so intense, and you can already tell the tension, like, building up here. It's very, very well done, in my opinion. Sorry, guys, I'm just looking something up first, and we're going to talk about it in a second. So, Jemma tries to reassure Fitz that Mac is still alive. They pretty much think that Mac's gone. They don't think that Mac's going to come back. They think that they're pretty much going to have to kill him because of this. But Fitz is suggesting that the city might have reacted the same way that the Diviner does when someone touches it. So, he figures that Mac is dead, but Jemma suggests that the city might have possessed and transformed Mac into a mindless slave, which is true. He's not really himself right now. And Bobby is packing for her trip back to San Juan, because if you remember, Bobby basically said that she was, moving back and everything, and she finds a small thumb drive on the floor. By the way, Jemma and Fitz, I do not think that Jemma is going to be leaving Fitz. I don't think Fitz is going to be leaving Jemma anytime soon. I mean, they need each other, and this episode really proves that they need each other in order to make this work. So, Lance comes in, assures her that it wasn't her fault that they lost Mac, and he hugs Bobby and assures her that Mac is tough and admits that there are some people that he trusts. Bobby gets a call from Diego and secretly pockets the device and then asks Lance for backup. And he knows that she picked up the thumb drive, but he says that he'll trust her on it and goes to get his weapons. So, in his office, Coulson assures Melinda that she made the right call. He figures that Skye can handle herself. He pretty much thinks that Skye knows what she's doing at this point. He trusts her. So, Grant takes Skye to his base, and this is when the episode gets amazing. I mean, right here, this is when it got really, really good. Chloe Bennett, that was her name. Chloe Johnson. Chloe Bennett was her name. Her performance in this episode after this was just amazing. He assures her that he's not loyal to Hydra, then cuts his hands free, takes her to see her father, and I'm very happy he said that, because all season long we have been trying to figure out where does Grant rely, and we know that he's going to be honest with Skye because he's in love with her, and he cares about Skye more than anything, so I'm happy that he told her he is not loyal to Hydra. I definitely like seeing that, because now we know that he is working with them, and they can trust him. So I definitely feel a large part of the second half of the season is trying to get back his trust. I definitely feel it's going to take a while, but now that we know that he's, working with them, now we know that he's going to try to definitely get their trust back, because I think he does, they should trust him. So, Grant leaves, Grant leaves Skye, not Jemma, Grant leaves Skye and her father to catch up in private, and the Doctor tries to hold on to his emotions. He settles himself and introduces himself as Cal. Now, let me explain something with this. This is actually really big, because Cal refers to Calvin Zabo, who is a fictional character, a supervillain that appears in the comic books. He's actually, I believe, a Spider-Man villain, but it's very big because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't really have a lot of superheroes right now, so when they said he was her father, I immediately wanted to see what this was about, because I knew it was something big, and I looked up the name, and that's what it refers to, so I think that's really cool. And the way they've been playing, just having him being called the Doctor, and now revealing him to be Calvin Zabo, is awesome. I love that they did that. And just, it really is an awesome reveal. The way, there were so many reveals in this episode, and I love that. So, he basically says he didn't want to meet her under their certain circumstances. He didn't actually want to meet up with her. And he then explains that Skye was born in China to a Chinese mother, and he hesitates for a moment, then he says that he's sorry that he couldn't be in there to protect her. However, Cal promises to take care of her, and Skye tells him to let her go, and Cal says that it's her destiny to be there. And I definitely like that he said that. I mean, she wanted this, she wanted to meet with her father, and now she can't let go of it, so... In San Juan, Bobby and Lance arrive near Diego. Bobby realizes that it's a trap when two Hydra agents come over. She figures out Diego is selling them out to her and kisses Lance as Diego and the Hydra agents walk by. I thought that was really funny. Diego slips Bobby an address on a piece of paper, and he goes by, as he goes by. And Lance and Bobby head there. They basically want to find out what's going on there. So, Skye insists that the entire thing is creepy between them. She tries to leave. Then Hydra troopers stop her. Cal ushers her back in, says that none of them will matter. He insists that he is using Whitehall and that her mother was special. His wife came from a line of people who have a gift, and he brought Skye there to awaken her gift. Skye asks what happened to her mother. Cal explains that S.H.I.E.L.D. agents came looking for her and saying, basically said that she was dangerous. And he lets Skye with people he trusted and tracked his wife to Europe. But by then, Whitehall had cut her to pieces and what was left in a ditch. So... he then just starts very creepily humming. He starts stroking her hair, and she remembers hearing it. And Cal explains that her mother sang it to her as a baby. And a Hydra agent comes in, tells Cal that Whitehall wants him, and Cal says there'll be plenty of time to answer his questions after he kills Whitehall. And the second he said that, I love that, because of course we know why he wants to go Whitehall, because Whitehall killed his wife. We know that. That's why he's been working with Whitehall, because he wants Whitehall to think he's on his side, but really he's not. So, the man, basically the man who destroyed his life, and humming, Cal walks out, and on the bus, the team is preparing to head out. Jemma confirms that if they were hazmat suits, then the city won't sense them. Melinda assigns Fitz and Simmons to run operations up top, while Coulson orders Sam to return to headquarters with Billy and initiate the Theta protocol. And Bobby calls to tell Coulson that the Hydra agents are at a theater. Sam imposes the map on the city of the map and realizes that they're over the main chamber. Fitzsimmons figures that Hydra plans to use a plasma drill to tunnel directly to the chamber. Coulson tells his team that he and Melinda will team up with Bobby and Lance to stop Hydra from drilling in. So, that's basically their plan. So, inside the theater, we see Raina, and Raina is supervising the plasma drill when a Hydra agent calls her outside. Grant and Cal are waiting. Whitehall comes in, thanks all three of them for their help. His men bring Skye in and asks why Grant disobeyed orders. Agent 33 opens the case holding the diviner and tells Skye to pick it up. She has no choice but to grab it, and the diviner grows. Skye jams into one of the soldiers, killing him, while Cal kills another with a hidden knife. Grant draws his gun, trains on Whitehall, and Whitehall merely says that he hopes Skye is as special as her mother. And as Agent 33 and his men aim their guns, Raina takes the diner. Whitehall says he finally worked out who Cal is. He wonders why Grant is there, and Raina says that he's in love with Skye. And Whitehall has one of his men knock Cal out, tells Grant that he can eventually make him comply. And the Quinnijet lands near the theater, and Coulson, Bobby, Lance, Melinda prepare to break into the theater from above. Hydra's monitoring the comm channels, so they'll have to maintain radio silence. And at the shaft, they insist on going with Trip. He agrees, but warns them that if Mac is still alive, then he's not the Mac they know. So they lower themselves down the shaft and discover that Mac isn't there. So obviously, you know, we know that Mac is not himself right now, so that obviously they're very worried at what's going to happen to him. So Agent 33 and her men guards Grant, Skye, and Cal in the kitchen, and he asks her how she got Melinda's face, which I myself was wondering. I mean, think about it. She's had Melinda's face, and, like, it's not like a mask or anything. She literally has Melinda's face. And she assures Grant that she's loyal to Whitehall, and Grant points out that the man he was loyal to went insane. And, you know, he was loyal to Whitehall, but now Whitehall went insane. So Whitehall comes in, Cal tries to attack him, but Whitehall activates a remote. Cal collapses to the floor as an implant in his neck activates, and Whitehall tells Skye that her mother didn't age and wonders if Skye has the same gift. And I think that definitely is very interesting, you know, because I was always wondering, you know, why is her mother like that? And he tells Cal that he wants him to watch as he dissects Skye, and just as gunshots sound the distance, this is just really, really crazy. Coulson and Melinda make their way through the theater, shooting down the Hydra troopers. They're just shooting them one by one. And a lot of people are complaining that that Hydra was not as strong. And that's because of what they've lost. Think about it. They're losing pretty much everything. S.H.I.E.L.D. has a much bigger plan. You know, Hydra's already attacked them so much. They've taken people from them. I mean, they really have no allies except for, like, Whitehall. That's really all they have. So Trib and Fitzsimmons make their way to the temple, and Grant tells one of the troopers that he's outnumbered and should let him go. He distracts the man while Cal manages to pull the implant out of his neck and kills the trooper, but he refuses to free Skye. He doesn't want to do it. He refuses. So he's basically claiming that she's safe for there and doesn't want her to see what he's going to do to Whitehall. And Grant offers to help, but Cal says that he has to do it himself and leaves. And the city team plants to the explosives. Trip warns that they're running out of time. Fitz says that they should split up and he'll plant one of the bombs. And let me talk about one other thing, by the way, guys. Every time that Cal is referring to Skye, he doesn't refer to her as Skye, because of course Skye is not her real name. We actually find out what Skye's real name is and who she actually is. And it's pretty huge what they ended up revealing that Skye is. And, you know, when they reveal what she is, I definitely really enjoyed that. We find out that Skye's true identity is Daisy Johnson, who is an Inhuman. And yeah, that's huge, because of course we were not supposed to get Marvel's Inhumans till 2019. So I love that they're already introducing us to this arc. I think it's really cool. It's made her a much more interesting character. And for us to show, I'm not going to refer to her as Skye. I'm going to refer to her as Daisy because that's her real name. So basically, I love that they revealed this because the whole season we've been wondering, what is Skye's true identity? Of course, the second that the doctor said that's not her real name, you know, he kept saying that all the time, like, what is he talking about? And now we know that he's Cal, and, you know, basically he's her father. He's the father to Daisy. So I think that definitely is really amazing that we found that out. So Cal finds Whitehall after he sent Agent 33 and his men after the intruders. He confronts the Hydra director, who draws a gun, prepares to shoot him. However, Coulson arrives, kills Whitehall, and furious, Cal screams that Coulson deprived him of his wife's killing, and Coulson promises to kill him if he takes another step. And I mean, I was so surprised that they killed Whitehall. And from there, Cal's like, what did you just do? He's freaking out because he wanted to be the one to kill Whitehall. You know, that's what he wanted to do. And I understand why he wanted to do that, but Coulson had to do what he had to do. I mean, obviously Cal's not happy with him now, though, because he really wanted to be the one to kill Whitehall. That's why he's here. He wants to kill Whitehall. So I was surprised that Whitehall died, because I kind of thought this arc was he was gonna be the major villain the entire season, but clearly he's not, because now he's dead. So And honestly, this season, the real villain of the season has been Whitehall, but it's also been, Cal, aka the Doctor. He really has been, made the show a lot more intense, and Hydra really has been the villain here. There hasn't been one specific villain. The villain's been Hydra. That's the villain. So, Coulson promises to kill him if he takes another step. Agent 33 arrives, opens fire. Cal runs off. Coulson ducks off in another direction. Agent 33 runs to Whitehall's corpse. Tons of shit going down at this point. Bobby and Lance take out more troopers. Cal jumps Coulson, knocks him down, moves in for the kill. And Grant frees himself with a hidden knife and then cuts Skye loose. She grabs a gun, shoots him repeatedly when he checks the door, and then leaves to find her friend. And Coulson and Cal continue fighting. Cal gets the upper hands as he beats Coulson. And Skye comes in and tells him to stop calling him Dad. And Cal backs away, saying that she has to finish what has started, insisting it's a good thing. Skye gives her father one chance to walk away, and I thought the scene was just amazing. This was amazingly well done. She says, I will give you one chance. You either walk away, or I'm going to kill you right now. So, he agrees, but says that he'll be waiting for her. Once she changes, everyone will be terrified of her except him, and he calls, and that's when we find out her name is Daisy Johnson, and I freaked out when that happened, of course, so he calls her Daisy, and leaves, and Daisy goes to Coulson, sobbing, and admits that she couldn't kill her father, and she says that she's going to find the diviner, make it right, runs off as Coulson tells her to stop, because, he's telling her, she needs to not do this. So, Agent 33 finds Grant in the kitchen, confirms that he was wearing Kevlar, and she admits that she doesn't know what to do now that Coulson is dead. That she thinks that Coulson's dead now. And Grant says that if she helps him escape, then they can figure it out together. And after a moment, Agent 33 carries him out. So, you can definitely see he has something up his sleeve right now. So, Melinda meets with Lance and Bobby. Melinda goes to find Coulson. Skye goes to the plasma drill, discovers that the diviner is gone. A line extends down the shaft in the sea. Skye realizes that Raina has the diviner, which is not good, obviously. Raina, I don't think we can trust her. I think she's on her own. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Raina's on her own side. I kind of feel like Raina and Grant are on their own side. They're not with S.H.I.E.L.D. or Hydra. They do their own thing. That's really what they are. I mean, and if that's true, they're going to be a big threat, and I can't wait to see what happens there. So, Raina makes her way through the city tunnels and comes face to face with Mac. He stares at her, and Raina tells him to take her there. After he turns, leads her to the temple, and Coulson and Melinda find the shaft in the basement. They realize that Daisy has gone after Raina. He insists on going after Daisy to make things right, tells Melinda to get the others back to the bus. After a moment, Melinda lowers him down on the line. Fitz, Trip, and Jemma get back on the fort after planting the last two charges. Melinda calls and tells them that Skye and Coulson are in the city. Hearing that, Trip goes down the and this was just amazing. I mean, Trip has barely had anything to do this season. I'm going to explain why in a second, when we get to the end of this episode. But Trip barely had anything to do, and I loved everything that Trip did in this episode. He took complete control. He goes down the shaft. He does not want something bad to happen to Daisy and Coulson. He knows that. So, he wants to do whatever he can to protect them. He goes down the shaft with us before Jemma and, they're trying to stop him. Jemma and Fitz are like, what are you doing? Don't do this. But he's not going to let them stop him. So, Max stops. Raina realizes they've reached their destination. She enters the temple and finds a pedestrian in the beam of light. Trip runs to the first charge, deactivates it. Coulson runs through the tunnels, calling for Skye. He's yelling for her name. Bobby and Lance get to the basement. Melinda tells them they have to get out. And it's really crazy here. Skye arrives at the temple entrance and finds Mac. He turns to face her, but he doesn't respond. And Skye promises to come back for him. She enters the temple and finds Raina waiting for her. Raina's right there waiting for her at the pedestrian. And Trip deactivates 2 more timers. He's doing whatever he can to save Daisy, basically. That's what he wants to do. So, Raina says that their lives have been leading to the moment and tells Daisy that the diviner gives new life. Now they both get to find out what they become, and boom! That's why this episode's called What They Become. Because now they get to find out who they really are. So, the diviner activates them, floats through the air to the pedestrian. Trip activates the 4th timer just in time. The temple shakes, and Raina tells Daisy it's her chance to leave if she wants. I was surprised she wasn't calling her Daisy, because there's sort of something going on with Raina that I want to talk about. But basically, Coulson arrives at the entrance, fights his way past Mac. Trip enters the temple through one entrance. Coulson gets to the temple doors just as they close on the pedestrian. The diviner opens, crystals sprout out from inside. Mac approaches Coulson, ready to kill him. You know, he is ready to kill him at this point. Raina tells Trip and Daisy that something beautiful is going to happen. A wave of energy sweeps out from the pedestrian. Mac collapses before he can get to Coulson, so he's cured now. He's himself again, which I was happy that they did that, because I didn't want to see Mac like this for, like, a very long time. So Daisy and Raina both start to petrify. He destroys the diviner. Trip destroys the diviner, but both women are transformed into statues. He looks down, realizes that the shards of the diviner have entered his body. He petrifies, and meanwhile, the stone covering Raina and Skye cracks and crumbles. Daisy frees herself, sees Trip, and Trip is seemingly dead, and I was so surprised by how far they went with this. I mean, again, Trip has had nothing to do this season, and he's getting so much to do in this episode, and it's awesome. The temple starts to collapse around her, and Coulson helps out Mac, who has reverted to normal, and Mac seems to be okay now. And basically, the very end of the episode, it's very hard to watch. Skye watches as Trip crumbles to dust, and Trip is dead. Trip is dead. And I honestly was like, holy shit, Trip is dead. I couldn't believe it, because Trip, again, has had nothing to do all season long. He really has been a background character. He's had a couple scenes here and there, but he hasn't had anything to do. I would have wanted a Trip-centric episode, but the reason we didn't get a Trip-centric episode was because this season was about Skye. This whole episode was about protecting Skye. Well, now we're going to refer to her as Daisy, because her name is Daisy, but, basically, of course, he of course, did what he did to protect Daisy and everything, and I love where that's heading. I love what they decided to do with that. Just amazing stuff there. Let me talk about why they decided to kill off Trip. I actually read an article about this. Now, the creators of the show revealed that they wanted to kill Trip in the first season, but they didn't know how to. Also because the first season of the show was not very good, so no one would really feel any attachment to him because he wasn't that important of a character. Killing him this way was awesome. I couldn't find a better way to kill off Trip. I mean, really killing off Trip shows that no one is safe and that they're going to kill off more agents, and I love that. I definitely love what they're doing here. And then we get to the post-credit scene, which is huge. I freaked out over this scene. I think this scene is amazing. I don't know what this is trying to show. Because we see in a study, a man with no eyes hears a warbling noise. He opens the case, revealing another diviner inside. The man makes a call, says there's someone new, and that he's on it. And everyone is pretty much thinking that is Raina. That Raina is another Inhuman, and I kind of feel like now we're going to have an Inhuman alliance, which is awesome to watch. And let me talk about how awesome the Inhumans are. First of all, we have no superheroes on this show. This show is strictly just agents and people. But now that we know that Skye's real name is Daisy and that she's an Inhuman, she's a lot more interesting of a character, a lot more things that I like about her, definitely. And I think her character is awesome now. But that whole plot with Hydra is done now. Hydra is done. We don't know what's going to happen next, but I guess now it's probably going to focus on the diviner and this man with no eyes who we don't know anything about. But now we have to wait till March. Why are you doing this to me, ABC? Why are you doing this to me? This episode was amazing. This whole season in general has been amazing. It's been amazing because it's been such an improvement over the first season. I was not going to watch this show because of how atrocious the first season was. But this season was so much better compared to that. They made the storylines more interesting. They made the characters more interesting. They made so many more interesting things. They added more stuff in it that I definitely like. The Agent Carter flashbacks was great. I can't wait for Agent Carter now. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Agent Carter is going to do. I do kind of feel like Agent Carter is going to give us some hints for what's to come in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I could definitely see that happening. But let me talk about a few things definitely that we need to talk about. First of all, let's talk about Grant for a second. Grant, of course, I don't know if we can really trust Grant. I think Grant is going to be basically on his own side now. I really think that's what's going to happen now. Agent 33, we don't know what Agent 33 did to Grant. I think that the two of them might end up working together, that she's going to kind of convince him to work. Now that Hydra's gone, they have nowhere to go. You know, Agent 33 is on her own, so is she going to try to make her own alliance? And if she does, I pretty much think this is what it's going to consist of. Her, Grant, Raina, and Daisy. I definitely think that's what it's going to, consider now, and if that's true, then that's going to be really awesome to see. and that's going to be really crazy as well. Cal's not dead. I think Cal's going to be now the big, villain now. I think he definitely is going to be a villain. I mean, Cal's going to be upset with Coulson, definitely, so Cal's not gone, and I know a lot of people are kind of upset that they killed off Whitehall, but still, Cal is still out there, which is huge. I definitely want to find out more. I want to see more flashbacks, definitely. When the show returns, we better get more flashbacks. I love the reveal that Skye is Daisy. I love that. The reveal of that was awesome. There were so many amazing scenes this episode. So many amazing acting scenes as well. As I said, definitely, definitely Chloe Bennett is an amazing actress. She really proved herself to be the best actress on this show. Definitely, she was an amazing, in this episode. What are your thoughts on them killing off Trip? I personally feel they had to do that. Also, I don't think that, Fitz and Jemma, I think they're still going to be working together. I really do. I don't see them departing now. I really see them working as a team, because they worked this whole thing out as a team, and I really could see them working together now. Bobby and Lance, I think they're getting closer and closer. Some people want Lance and Raina together. I mean, some people want Grant and Raina together. I could see that, but Grant and Daisy is, Daisy is who he really loves. So, is he gonna find out who she really is? I mean, we'll have to see. I think he does know, because he was, no, he wasn't in the, was he in the room? No, he wasn't in the room, actually. I'm trying to remember if she was in the room. No, he wasn't in the room. He doesn't know the thing about Skye, so that's going to be interesting to see if when he finds out that Skye's actually Daisy. Also, I don't think half the team knows about this, so when they find out, they're not going to know what to do. Definitely the Inhumans are about to take over this show. It's going to get really amazing. And they've set up something that's not happening until 2019. How awesome is that? Just the fact that they set it up already, and it's not for like 4 years till the movie actually comes out. That's what's so awesome about all this. And I don't think you guys realize how awesome it's going to be now, because now we're setting up the anticipation for the Inhumans, and we're now setting up, what's going to happen with them. And it's really making us more interested in them. And honestly, if they get, like, Daisy and Raina to be part of Inhumans, the movie, I'm going to be very happy about that, because that's going to be really awesome to watch, definitely, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen there. How's everyone going to react to Trip's death? I definitely feel everyone's going to be really upset. Also, another thing I really liked is they didn't do the, we'll return a moment thing. They didn't say that when they cut to the commercial break. They just, it was silence. I love that. It was definitely more effective that way. Raina, I definitely think, has her own agenda. I think she is one of the Inhumans. We'll have to see what happens to her. I definitely feel that she is not to be trusted at this point. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, do you think Raina's on Daisy's side? She did say to Daisy that this is a good thing for them. So is the Diviner a good thing, or is it too much of a good thing? You never know. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Overall, I have loved this season. I can't wait for March. I also can't wait for Agent Carter. I will definitely be reviewing that to you guys. That looks awesome. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for the mid-season finale of Arrow. So many mid-season finales this week. Oh my god. The Flash was amazing, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. amazing, Let's Hope Arrow's amazing. I'm sure it's going to be. I'll see you guys for that, and let me know what you guys saw this episode. This really changes so much. It does. It changes so much, because now we have the Inhumans on the show, and it's going to change the whole dynamic of this show, which I just love. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for Arrow. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.